This is Dean with Slate Companies, and in this video, we're going to be looking at the wavetable oscillators in Anna 2. Now, there are 3 wavetable oscillators that can be used simultaneously, and you can load up wavetables by clicking on the wavetable selector and then using this nice browser, or you can simply flip through them to try them out one after the next. Now, in the version of Anna 2 that you get access to from Slate Digital, there are a ton of custom, exclusive wavetables that allow you to get an incredibly wide range of sounds. Now, we've got a patch loaded up in Anna 2, so let's just flip through some of these 3D wavetable oscillators so you can hear some of the possibilities. Some really incredible sounds there. And we can also add a sub, either a square, triangle, or sine wave on each of these oscillators. And this is great for adding a fat, low end to a patch. And one of the really cool things in Anna 2 are the 3D wavetables. If we have a 3D wavetable selected, we'll see a couple of things. We'll see the 3D light up, and we'll also get a morph knob in place of the usual phase knob. This allows us to morph through the wavetable for some really interesting sounds. Pulse width and sync let us further adjust the sound of the waveform that we have selected, which gives us even more sonic possibilities. We also get this nice visual of what each of these knobs does on the actual waveform. Here we have this retrigger button, and this lets us choose if we want the waveform to retrigger each time we hit a key. And below that, we have the FM knob, and this stands for frequency modulation. And this lets us do FM synthesis. We'll get into more detail on how to do this in the next video. On the right side of this section, we have some octave and pitch controls that allow us to tune each of the individual oscillators. And we can also set the velocity, the morph velocity, and key tracking settings here. Now, this gives us further control over how each individual oscillator reacts to our MIDI note input. We then have some more controls for each oscillator. The voices knob sets the number of voices for the oscillator. Now, listen to how the sound changes as we add and take away voices. We can then set the detune, the width, and shape for these voices. Now, you must have at least one voice in order to hear any sound being generated from the oscillator. If it's set to 0, you won't hear anything from that oscillator. The bottom row of these knobs starts with the sub knob, which sets the volume for the sub oscillator. We then have the pan for that oscillator. And then we have the filter section. Now, this knob sets the amount of the output of the oscillator that is sent to each filter. When this knob is all the way to the left, it is only sending to filter 1. Now, when it is set all the way to the right, it is sending only to filter 2. And when we set it to 50%, it's sending equally to both filter 1 and filter 2. This allows you to get some unique routing for some really interesting filter effects. Now, by clicking on this X button, it takes it out of the filter path entirely, so it completely bypasses the filter for this oscillator. And finally, we have the volume for each oscillator. Now, we can switch between the 3 wavetable oscillators by clicking on these numbers at the top of the section. And with this drop-down menu, we get a few more options like copying oscillator settings from one to another, or resetting an oscillator, or even some of the FM filters, which are really useful when we're doing FM synthesis with the FM knob. So that is the first 3 oscillators of Anna 2, the wavetable oscillators. In the next video, we're going to get deeper into FM synthesis in Anna 2. Anna 2 is available in the Slate Digital All Access Pass, which gives you thousands of dollars worth of award-winning plugins. the industry's most game-changing synthesizer, Anna 2, and the very best Masterclass production courses taught by the industry's biggest pros, all for $14.99 per month.